For those of you that don't know me, forgot to wait for that, sorry. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Angela Edwards. I am actually the director of the Beaver Public Library. I also do all of our teen programming and assist with all the children's programs. So in a small library, you kind of have your hand in everything because you have to. But my idea for this session is, my favorite part of any training is being able to sit and talk with everybody, whether it's the breaks or whatever. I love to be able to sit and just connect with people and share their ideas, what works, what doesn't work. And so that's what I'm hoping to get today, is to have you guys share your success, your failure, what's great, what's not, and of course, how we would fix it. I'm going to start with a little bit of a story. And with that, I'm going to share some pictures. So this was my beginning 16 years ago. This is my little guy on my lap. And I was just reading.
We can't see it.
Stories. And my library had zero programming, zero. And I came to the library and said, can I start a story time?
Angela, oh, sorry, just a second. We are stuck. We're stuck on your
on my slide. Let me fix that.
You couldn't see us, could you? Right? Because you're on screen share.
No, I can see you. How's that?
Oh, there. That's better. Yeah.
Okay. So my little guy is sitting there enjoying this story. And I started these programs because there was nothing at my library. But this is where I measured my true success. If you look at this picture, we have these little boys that are just a little bit bored, but then you have this cute little girl, which happens to be my little girl, and she's completely engaged. And to me, that is success, is if you can engage even just one child, then you have achieved success. But before we hit our successes, I want to know your failures, actually. What didn't work? So what programs or ideas or projects did you start this year or ever that didn't work? So that's my first question. And I will start with our failure. Story walks are fabulous. I love them. Ours didn't work so well. Get them in on the first board. And so what I learned is I would do less, but our story walk, I felt like we couldn't measure our success and it just didn't work well. So what is something that you tried that didn't work? You can raise your hand, you can type in the chat, or you can unmute and please talk to us.
I have the perfect example.
Good.
When it was fairy tales, I think the theme was fairy tales or something a couple of years ago. I had the cutest Three Little Pigs program. Like, it was over the top, so cute. But I didn't anticipate the older kids thinking that it was too young for them. And not one person came, which is actually good because it's better than one person coming. Because if one person comes in, it's like, oh. But so I think a lot of times you really have to consider how you're marketing it, and, you know, because the activities were really for older kids, but the story itself, maybe not so much. So that was one of my failures, many.
Anybody else want to share a failure?
I'll start just for a second. Real quick. I actually did a book baby once with one mom and one son, and it was incredibly awkward, but it was okay. Like, you know, you're not going to turn someone away. And the mom was like, no, I brought my child. I'm like, of course, we're going to do this. And it was a really good learning lesson for me. It was early in my career. And it also just kind of hit home that we serve, we are going to serve. I'm not going to turn someone away. And even if it's awkward for me, they have taken the time out of their day. The mom has put shoes on that kiddo and, you know, and gotten them out the door. So of course you're going to give it your all, as dweebish as I felt. But yeah, so I mean, I guess it wasn't a failure, but it was just moments of awkwardness. Let's open that up too. And then we do have some stuff in the chat. Let's see.
Yes, one person says, I had a difficult time doing WebEx video programs during the school year. The kids are so burnt out with virtual meetings, I think. I had that exact same concern, that they just there's so much screen time already. So some of our programs, we are waiting until we open.
So we offer an elementary program 1 day a week, September through January. So we started it, and then in November we stopped. So I moved it online, and I lost 90% of the attendance. I stuck with it for those 3 families that were still attending, because you can't end in the middle of a novel. You have to finish the novel, right? But so I understand the burnout with virtual, and I'm sure had I been able to continue in person, they would have kept coming, but online they were just done.
I'm kind of curious how many people are planning like in-person programming for the summer. Do people want to chime in the chat on that?
I was going to say chat, or use your reactions down in the bottom and raise your hand, or raise your hand on your camera like Sherry. Yeah, I would love to know that as well.
And if you're doing it, what they're doing. Can they unmute? I can't remember. Oh, okay. So you can even, if you want to talk, that would be great. Parks Department. Someone said, we've tried various virtual programs in our area, and apparently it just doesn't interest them. Online book club, virtual story time, etc. Very low participation. And then we have someone who said, we're teaming up with our Parks Department and doing story time in the park. We are actually doing that too, because we don't have any outside space around our library, and I don't want people coming in for any, we're not doing formal programming inside the library at all. And then one person said, we want to try it, but with a backup plan. Story times in the park. I'm assuming that's what Dawn is referring to. So
as far as the city library is concerned, we're all our super summer challenge summer reading program will be all virtual. As far as I know, if Deanna or Meredith, somebody else can correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure we are still keeping it to virtual interactions.
So someone from Payson City Library said, we're also thinking about doing stories in the park. Morgan County is planning in-person story time starting April 1st, fingers crossed.
Good luck.
Well,
good luck. Good luck.
Uh-oh, I'm losing I got to read faster. Story bag, crafts, kits, and take and makes have gone much better. We are doing a Dr. Seuss birthday take-home bag right now. Oh, for next week, yeah.
I love that, Daniel. That's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Tammy said, what month are you thinking to start outdoor programming? For us in Park City in the snow, we won't start anything until June or August. No, I'm just kidding. June. But I don't know. What is everyone else doing? We just start when school gets out.
It says Payson says they're doing book club, which is great. With low attendance, that does make it easy to hold a program if you just have a few. Now we're still talking failure. Actually, we're talking new ideas, but so back to on the track. If you failed at something, what's your plan to fix it? So we hosted a board game for National Game and Puzzle Week. It happens to have the week of Thanksgiving. And I thought, oh, it'll be so fun and we'll teach a new game. Obviously it was before COVID. So we had different age games set out. We had puzzles started so people could just jump in, and we were going to teach new games like card games. And then we had added them to our collection to check out. So you come and learn it with us and then take it home and play. And nobody showed up. But there was a basketball game, something. There was a high school event that night and a terrible storm. And so, of course, nobody's going to come out in the wind and the cold and the snow. So next time, I would double check the school calendar and maybe host it the week prior, say in preparation for, and then they'll have a new game to try with their family that comes to visit for Thanksgiving. So that's my way to fix that failure. So Kirsten, how are you going to fix your 3 little pigs?
I'm just not going to do it again. I'm giving up on that one. Sometimes you just have to decide you tried and move on. So we do have some more chat though. Katrina said, we are waiting till the weather warms up a bit, then we'll do story time in the field. Katrina, will you unmute and tell them what you do about social distancing? Because then the next question said, is anyone worried about being the only outside program and then having too many people to safely socially distance? And I
totally.
Yeah, Katrina, you're on. You do a great job with
that. So in the summer and in the warmer months, we we're lucky because our library used to be the high school. So we have like eons ago. So we have a big field outside that used to be the football field. And in terms of social distancing, my first few story times I did, I put cones out in hopes that people would like distance themselves. But then like the kids just ended up playing with the cones and it was kind of a cluster. So I just basically would say before story time, hey friends, I trust you all adults to make the best decision for you and your family. I'm not going to enforce things. And I just had like a big hoop that I would keep around myself in case kids came up to like, and I would do big, huge, oversized picture books for story time outside. So that's kind of what I did. And I put the onus on the adults for spacing themselves appropriately, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And where do you get your big books?
I've gotten them from a variety of places. Scholastic has a couple. Amazon had some. I also got some from, I think, Lakeshore Learning. I think I now own every oversized book that has been published, and I'm kind of getting bored. But then, like, I also use puppets, or we'll do like a retelling of, Goldilocks and the Three Bears or something like that to kind of keep it exciting for me, because otherwise, and not every oversized book is a good story time book either.
Yeah. Thanks, Katrina. We have a couple more things in the chat. People are talking about registration in advance. I know some libraries do that. We do not, but we also don't get hundreds of people showing up. Let's see. Someone else said that they've moved book club to take and make kits, which has been very successful. Daniel said, I know another regional library is doing in-person story time, but I believe there is RSVP, only 10 allowed at a time, and precautions must be followed. They also have a good amount of physical space. They're offering the same story time multiple times during the week to allow more in. Is there anyone here who does different story times during the week, like 5 different story times with 5 different plans? Or I've always been curious about that because I just repeat them if I do more than one. Oh, different ones. Wow. Murray, good for you. Tammy asked, did you wear a mask while doing your outdoor story time, Katrina?
Sorry about that. I did not, but I was like, I am very loud, and also made sure that there was plenty of space between me and the other folk.
Okay. Sharon, does the Utah State Library have oversized books to borrow?
I was just going to ask if Sharon could chime in on that one.
That's a great question. Not right now, but that doesn't mean we couldn't in the future. Yeah, great question.
That would be a great benefit, I know, from a small library perspective, because I'm a little envious that Katrina could just purchase them because we can't. So I'm a little jealous right there with your budget, Katrina.
Angela, do you want to look at that chat too? I'll pass it back to you.
Oh, no, you're doing fabulous. I appreciate it.
Just feel like I'm doing all the talking. So
Lori she's in story time outside or upstairs in a big room with people social distancing and masks, and then take home packets for those that aren't comfortable. That's fabulous, especially in a small library. Mm-hmm. How did you move your book club to a kit? Who mentioned their book club moving to a kit? How did you do that?
That was Paige from Salt Lake County.
Oh, perfect. Paige, do you want to unmute?
Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm Amanda. My last name is Paige.
Oh. Sorry.
And I have these kits that I made, and because I'm in a large system, I can put multiple books on hold to be at our library for a display. So I put a bunch of, the latest kit is Zeta the Space Girl. So I've got a bunch of Zeta the Space Girl books laid out on a table. And then I have kits and I have little baggies. I've got these little dropper things to cut. They're in here. I'll take it out so you can see what I'm talking about. So there's that. And then you cut it, and then you make these little rockets. I don't know if you can see that picture.
Oh, a little bit.
But you can make those rockets, and then I've got star wheels. So I can make star wheels, and then I have the book review that if they return it, they can get a prize. So that's what I've got in my kits. So yeah, they've been flying off of the table, and people are checking out the books too at a pretty high rate as well. So it's pretty awesome. So yeah, that's how I did it.
That looks fantastic, Amanda. Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, I was going to say that's fantastic. And I know at the city library, and I think we have a couple folks that might still be on, but we have done take and makes, and even with our adult programs, we just started this maker kit where for part of our, maybe 3 or 4 of our libraries have creative spaces. And so once a month we have a kit. I'm teaching one tomorrow on embroidery. I just started to learn embroidery yesterday. So if you do come, have no high expectations, but a shameless plug for that. So we give away, I think our since we're not doing in-person programming, we have this budget that we want to spend and give to our community. And so we have the adult kits, we have the kits take and makes for kids and teens, and they have been wildly popular. So, and Meredith, I have no idea, I'm totally putting you on the spot, but if you wanted to chime in and say anything, or Sherry, I mean, Sherry, Sherry was also a part of that. But yeah, it's a way for us to be able to reach out and to give the kids something interactive at home. And just real quick, with the Creative Lab Live that we're doing with the live Zoom, they can come and pick up the kits, and then we do teach a class. Teach is a little bit of a, not in my case, but anyway, so yeah, and then we have the class on Saturday, and that will also be recorded and shown in BiblioBoard, so for future reference. And someone's got their hand raised. What a polite human being. This is awesome. I don't even know how to do, who is it? Whoever raised their hand, please go ahead. Oh, Amanda.
Amanda.
Or not. It's cool. No pressure. Anyway, yeah. Oh, Meredith, yay, from the city library. Take it away.
Yeah, I don't have a mouthful of food anymore, so camera back on. Yeah, no, I was just going to echo what you said, Lisa, about the take and makes. I feel like with the city library, with our setup, we've been super precautious about in-person things, and then also very cautious about Zoom with kids. So like we haven't really done anything that would run the risk of getting Zoom bombed or things like that with kids around. And like I know we've got something coming up next week that we're trying for the first time. And like Lisa said earlier too, like we, get ideas and then it takes months to actually make it happen because of marketing and scheduling and everything. So this event next week is partnering with Help Me Grow Utah. And like, we didn't even want to have it be like kids programming. It's just for caregivers because like, we're just so like worried about getting Zoom bombed or having something traumatic happen on our Zoom. Like we don't want to be the first ones that has that happen. So we're just like avoiding it. But yeah, just because we used to partner with them in person where they'd come and talk to caregivers about their developmental progress of children and things that they can do. So we're going to try and mimic that in a Zoom setting. And again, like we don't know who's going to come, how many people, if it's going to be successful or not, but it's something we want to try out. But they've been really good actually partnering as well with us and giving us things to give out at curbside holds to go pickup. To give to people, just to try to keep that, getting things into the hands of people to kind of go along with our take and makes that we've put together for kids. So
thank you, Meredith.
Erin Warnick, you won't be the first because Erin said that her baby story time was Zoom bombed, which sounds awful. So I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Aaron.
sorry, that's inappropriate. Erin, would you care to expound on that at all?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you want to talk about that, Erin?
You missed the failure part.
Yeah, that was our failure. It was, we had decided to launch our baby story time on Zoom. It was the first time that we had done it, and somebody got on there, I guess a couple of people, and they were just sending out a bunch of hate speech and videos that were like swearing, and it was all a bunch of hates.
That's horrible.
Stuff like using racial slurs and everything. It was pretty bad.
That is horrible. I am so sorry. All right, so I did leave a majority of our time for successes because I know we all have success that we want to share. So for our library, we just finally started making storytime kits. They're like an early literacy kit. That was our answer to no story time. They've gone fabulously. Unfortunately, they take a lot of time to prep. And we don't have a huge staff. There's just 3 of us at my library. And so it is a lot of work, and it does take all of us to build them. And especially when you're starting from nothing. However, we did just write a grant to do art on your own. So it kind of goes into what we just did with Lindsay. So it will be, if we get the grant, let's keep our fingers crossed, it will be a kit that you check out. It'll have a book and your art supplies, everything you need to go experience this new medium that maybe you haven't tried before. And our goal is 10 to 18-year-olds, so that tween to teenage, to maybe experience some art that they aren't already trying. We had successful art programs running prior to COVID, and the expression and the release that these teens found in this safe space was so phenomenal. So to take that away was really hard. So we're hoping that they can take this home and maybe experience it there if we get the grant. So that's what's upcoming for us. I foresee it being a huge success, but art supplies are pricey, so there was no way we could do it without a grant. So what's somebody else's?
Let me
Okay,
ask
go
you a
ahead,
follow-up
Sherry.
question. So is your Storytime kit a checkout permanent kit, or is it like a take and make?
We did ours as a checkout. It does have a take and make included with it. And then I had some volunteers, our 7th graders have to do some service hours in the community for one of their classes. And so luckily they were part of my summer program. And so they come to me and say, Angela, what can we do? So they come after school and put my kits together for me. And so they do all my backup, and then we have them all filed. So the staff, when the kit gets returned, the staff can just go to the file box, pull out the next kit, put it in, and it's right back to circulation. But we did it as a circulation, and we did it. I didn't put any book in it that I wouldn't read out loud at story time. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, to Erin, you do a STEAM and virtual art class. What do you mean they sell out? Do you just reserve, or do they have to pay?
So I just do an online Eventbrite registration just because of materials, like limited materials. So, because generally everything I put in the kit for them, they take home, and I don't have them bring anything back. So whatever art supplies I use, I send home with them, and they get to keep. So I usually have to limit it, but so I just do a free Eventbrite registration. But yeah, we have lots of fun. We did last month for STEAM, we did circuit Valentines, where they got to make Valentines with circuits. So, and then for art, we did bean art. So I just gave them a ton of beans, and we just created beans, and it was so fun. So, and I just give them a little explanation. So I said, we're going to do a mosaic. So I told them a little bit of background information on mosaics, and then we just created, and I usually stay on with them for about a half an hour, and I play music while we create together, and then they like to show me what they created. It's been really fun.
I love that. That sounds fantastic. What was our next comment over there? Yeah, the teen volunteers are priceless. Amanda says the county library, their early learning is awesome. Yeah, I can't pay. I would love to have that in my back pocket. To have that access and to have that community that works together to help you build those is incredible. So good job. How do I market?
We've all seen the face of early learning in the county too with Tammy. So we can
Right.
associate that together.
To market my art programs, I actually market it for any age. However, if you're under 12, a parent has to come with you. So our art programs, when they were successful, we had as many adults as we did teens. So it really is multi-generational activities there. But we only have Facebook. That's only social. Oh, we just started an Instagram. So we do social media, obviously. We do use the newspaper. We do hang flyers in the high school still. So we try, however, and then of course, if they actually walk in, even if it's just to use the Wi-Fi, we make sure we grab them. And then Karen said the Storytime kits the kit that supports Storytime, which I love that. And I've heard other libraries doing that. I think it's a fantastic idea. Sharon, it's your turn.
Okay, forgive me for emailing Marie at the State Library about big books.
Oh.
But she said that if we had 5 or 10 folks who would be willing to check them out regularly, we would purchase them. So can I get some commitment? Yes. All right.
I was gonna say, can everybody do the little raise your hand or and clap something on your reactions? Because I would definitely do it.
Okay, I'm gonna let Marie know that. Yes. So that was
Yay.
fast.
That was very fast. Thank you,
Yes,
Sharon.
you're welcome.
Amanda, yes, if we could pool our Storytime kits, that would be amazing to share that somewhere.
That would be a great project for next year, Angela.
Yes, Kirsten. And on that note, we're looking for members. We are looking for new members for the Youth Services Roundtable. So if any of you would like to jump on board with us, Kirsten is chair next year. It's great ideas, big things coming. So come participate with us and help us. You can be in my seat next year. And Katrina's on there, Lisa, we have a great committee. So come join the roundtable. How are volunteer situations with everyone? So Kirsten has no volunteers. Not allowed, not allowed, not allowed. I'm the only one that uses volunteers. Yeah, mine come one at a time usually. Sometimes they come in a pair as friends, and so that helps.
Yeah. I'm just curious because I called in previously. I just got my first shot, which I'm stoked about. But and I made that appointment yesterday, and I'm like, sorry, painting, I love you. But
you just had it. Wow.
So we're starting, we open on Monday for like limited service, which it's going to be what it is. It'll be lovely. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, is that the level of service? Then you're like, oh, now we have some volunteers because if people are coming and going, so I'm just kind of trying to get a barometer on what other folks are doing.
I can give you my case, but I am in a very small community. We did not get our first case of COVID till end of May, first part of June. So I feel like I'm kind of in a different world than the urban areas. We did close March to May. We reopened. Our computers were by appointment only or a limited time and then curbside, but we have done that the whole time. We opened back up in May and it was harder for the staff than it was for the patrons. The patrons were happy to be able to come in, pick up their own books. As staff, we looked around and we're like, there's so many people in here, and kind of had that moment of panic. And so it's retraining us on how to handle the people now. So anybody else?
Oh, you're muted, Kirsten.
Right. Curious about how many people are closed or who's still closed. I know we are, but it didn't Salt Lake Public Library just open or about to open or something?
I think if I think if Deanna's still on, we are supposed to reopen for express services on March 15th.
What does it mean, express services?
Express services is a great question, where we, most of the stacks are closed. Oh my gosh, and please, Meredith and Deanna, chime in to correct me. I mean, at the main library, we have our first floor that's open for 1 hour. We have computers, and then we'll have every department at the main library has a piece of their collection that are not a piece, like
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss book, have fun. I mean, we have a little showing of our entire collection, and we also have runners. So we have, the building is, you know, five stories, and so we have somebody, we're all hooked up to our little walkie-talkie thingamajiggers, and we call, somebody will say, I need a bunch of books on Egypt, and then the runner in the children's library will grab those, take it up to our families, and so that's how we're handling that's express services will stay that. We will continue to stay that way until I'm not sure when. So
there's comments that they're only allowing people to stay 30 minutes, Salt Lake County, because there was a question of how long do you allow people to stay. Payson's been open since August. Murray's appointment only. Oh, there's Salt Lake County's hours. You guys can read them. So open for browsing with limited hours. I know part of the question or discussions as library directors was, how do you clean everything? Because it's almost impossible to sanitize everything somebody touches. So good luck is all I can say. You just have to do the best you can. And at some point realize it's just out of your control. And if you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. Case in point. Oh, the bookmobile, Oversized service only. I was wondering when the bookmobile started back up. Katrina, you're just fine. It's great information. Yeah, and we still have people that are cautious. So of course we aren't hitting limits either. There's people just are still a little cautious. Small town though, nobody wants to wear the mask. So that's the whole other thing. And it's just not something I'm going to confront people on. We ask it, it's posted, but I'm not gonna have a confrontation. So any other questions about opening and people inside? Go ahead, Katrina.
I'm just like so energized and excited from like this. Like I'm just like, oh, I'm so invigorated by people, but like also being safe, you know, all the things.
So I found the most challenging, especially when we were doing in-person story time, to talk through the mask. Even though I can project, I'm fairly loud, there's just a different movement to your face with your mask on. And so it is very hard to do a program with it. Yeah, I need to give me some of those, Katrina.
These are game changers. They have a couple different kind. I call them, it's like a cod piece, but for your mask. But like, it prevents you from like when you're inhaling or like all your sweat getting on your mask. You can get them in bulk on Amazon.
There we go. All right, so I have a Kahoot to play. If everyone's game to play Kahoot, if you don't know what it is, I want to know that. So we're going to try it, see if it works, and then we're going to talk youth services a little, the youth services roundtable a little bit as well.
I just want to give a shout out to the last chat. Eagle Mountain Library says that they have people come and clean the whole building twice a day, which is so cool.
That's amazing. How did you get that?
Yeah.
Do you want to unmute and talk to us?
Oh, yes, Erin. Rochelle, are you out there?
Hey, Erin, that's coming. Give me a second.
Okay, Rochelle.
We have our janitors, and then we hired 4 more cleaners that come in and clean both of our city buildings. And so we have 1 in the morning and then we have 1 at night.
That's amazing. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, but it's helped. We haven't had any outbreaks and stuff, so that's nice.
That's so great.
I just wanted to mention,
Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, just the city, like we have, you know, a lot of us, Katrina and others that maybe are opening for the first time, we had a lot of apprehension as librarians, and at the city we have a safety team. we are in urban downtown Salt Lake City. Not all of our branches have the same issues, but there's some stuff going on there. But we were very apprehensive, and I would say 98% of the people, just pulling that out of nowhere, but people were very, as far as like making sure that their masks are on correctly. I mean, in our system, you cannot enter the building if you don't have a mask on. You can't enter. And it actually just kind of equalized all of us. Like, nobody wants this thing on their face. And and some people would be flustered and confused, and we would just have to gently remind them. And I think our staff got really good. And maybe some of those people that may not be as comfortable, staff included, like talking to other people, like this just brought up a conversation, a way to talk to each other, and that we're all, ultimately it's for our greater good. So Katrina, I feel your pain, but you're going to be great. And people really understand. I mean, of course, there are going to be some people that are frustrated, and we always had the masks right there at the entrance, so if people didn't have a mask, we had kid sized, we have adult size, and of course we have that available, and we want them to be able to come in and use our space in a limited capacity. So, and we also, everybody that's on the public floor is equipped with a spray bottle and our paper towels, and we wipe down everything when people leave, not the books, not the materials, but the computers, the chairs, and all that stuff.
So we actually were able to use part of our city's CARES funds to purchase masks that say Beaver Public Library on them. And so our first 300 people that came in after we got them all have Beaver Public Library masks. So, do some branding and sell yourselves while you're at it if you have to wear it, right? All right, should we try Kahoot? I'm going to share it so you'll see the pin on your screen.
Angela, is that the same link that you gave us before? Because I don't know that one works.
It is not, because I did it wrong.
Oh.
I was actually sitting in city council, and they were ahead of schedule, which never happens in a city council meeting. And they're like, is there something does anybody have anything? I was like, I have a game. Do you want to play? And so I actually played this with city council.
Okay.
So, hey, I've got a couple of people in.
Seriously, I can't figure out how to get in. What do I do?
So just go to www.kahoot.it.
Okay.
And then it should come up and say, do you have a pin? Ask for your game pin. Whether you do it on your phone or in a browser. I like it on my phone because then I don't have to worry about flipping screens or anything. Mm-hmm. And thanks, Meredith. I tried with the masks. My city's not very good at enforcing generally, so the library is kind of the odd duck with it. Okay, I'll give a couple more minutes. It looks like we have quite a few into play, so yay. Hey, Kirsten, it let you in.
I did it.
Lisa, are you in?
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. Oh, okay, here we go.
I don't know who pizza is, but that's fabulous. Good job. All right, we ready? Go, a couple more popping in. So there is plenty of time on these questions, but I have to read them out loud, and I can't read as fast as the clock was ticking, so I had to give us a little bit longer with them. So it looks like a lot of you are familiar with Kahoot. If you're not, it's really fun. My elementary program, I told you we were reading a novel. So at the first of every meeting, when we took it to Zoom, to recap what we read the previous week, I would just do questions for them on Kahoot. And the kids were familiar with it, so they were able to jump in and answer the questions. And then, of course, somebody's the winner at the end. All right, here we go. Question 1, what is Chatterbox? Red, online youth services meeting. Blue, the storage closet where you talk to yourself. Yellow, a child that won't talk to you. Or green, a box to put chatty staff members in. Woohoo! I'm so proud of you guys. Oh, Katrina's fastest on the draw. This guy shows us that cats and mice can get along just fine. Red, fat cat, blue, Pete the cat, yellow, Splat the cat, or green, the cat in the hat. Woohoo! Katrina, you are lightning fingers. This boy proves life is full of adventures if you envelope yourself in it. Envelope's your hint. Red, Flat Stanley, blue, Curious George, yellow, Max the Brave, or green, Flat Stanley. Oh, Flat Stephen is red, sorry. I read that wrong. All right, number 4. Which of the following activities can Connecting with Youth Services Roundtable not do to help you at your library? Red, discover, make, and take ideas. Blue, teach you storytime tricks. Yellow, help you brainstorm program ideas. Or green, get you a much-deserved raise. This is the kid with the purple crayon. Who is he? Red Harold, blue Fred, yellow Clifford, green George. So if you don't know how this is scored, it's based on speed besides accuracy. So when we see those winners, it's whoever's fastest. Ooh. The bread and jam eating badger expresses her feelings by singing little songs. What is her name? Red is Lily, blue is Franny, yellow is Francis, or green is Emily Elizabeth. This literal-minded housekeeper overcomes some minor misunderstandings. Red, Amelia Bedelia, blue, Alice Nelson, yellow, Florence Johnston, or green, Mrs. Garrett. It's horrible, I'm just putting together who Mrs. Garrett is. Elizabeth took over, good job. This sweet yellow puppy is good at making friends, being playful, and learning new tricks. Red Biscuit, blue Bingo, yellow Clifford, green Buster. Nice, yours are fast. This little mouse creates his own adventures in New York City. Red Stuart Little, blue Mickey, yellow Jerry, or green is Fievel. This girl, aka Half Pint, taught us about what it was like to grow up in the 1800s. Red Caddy Woodlawn, blue Laura Ingalls Wilder, yellow Anne of Avonlea, green Pippi Longstocking. This girl's so proud of her purple purse, her shiny quarters, and her boots. Who is she? Red Ivy, blue Lily, yellow Mimi, or green Pippi. This kid became king of the wild things and made it home in time for supper. What's his name? Red Mikey, blue Mickey, yellow Max, green Marvin. The spider from E.B. White's classic shows us what friendship is all about. Red Wilbur, blue Fern, yellow Templeton, green Charlotte. All right, winners. Katrina, 3rd place, woohoo! Queen Molly, 2nd place, and 1st place, Elizabeth, yay! So if you haven't used Kahoot, it's super easy. I actually stole that quiz from the Kansas library system or somewhere. I just added our youth services question in. So it can be super simple. It doesn't have to be hard. I honestly do 6 or 7 questions. It's so much fun. Yes, Katrina, still it. It was completely free. Kahoot offers tons of free ones available. I've seen a banned books one. I've seen other children's programs one. I chose a short one. You can edit it, change the timing, whatever you need to do, but Kahoot is a blast. If you haven't used it, definitely go to try. We have about 15 minutes left. If anybody else has anything else they want to share.
Or just random questions or what you've been doing. I'm curious about how people's communities have been. How have your communities been? The smaller communities, and how have they been with the support of the library? That was my worry, is that we, not worry, but like we have to maintain relevancy, and I don't want to change the playfulness, but I'm also just curious, and then I'll just be quiet.
Well, I'll let another small library speak up first instead of hearing more from me. So who else is out there?
Well, we've had some very upset patrons who have written counsel ad nauseum. So no, we're opening Monday, but I feel thankful though that like council and our director, like they've gone through like the different like the county's levels to kind of be the barometer. Like, so I think we're about to switch to moderate or something, and that's kind of how we're making changes and when and why. But some people just really like to come in for their 5 minutes a day to check their email and the news and read their newspaper. It's like their routine. They want their routine back, and I totally get it.
Can I chime in on that? Can you hear me?
Yes, please, Daniel.
Good. I can't hear myself. So the theme for this year was "We Are the Heart," and boy, I think people have been missing their heart. I just had a story told to me last week, and I wasn't aware of this, but some of you might have heard about the mother in Fantasy Canyon in our area that killed her children, and it was somebody that was really well known to the libraries out here, and just the need for people to have an out, and the library often serves as the out and has been for a long time, and that has been taken away for over a year, and some of us are closer than others. This will be a local decision, obviously, depending on what the conditions are like in your libraries. Just like Park City said, we are fortunate that we're dropping down to a moderate level. We did just last week. A lot of our vulnerable population is getting vaccinated that wants to. And to not waste vaccine, actually last week, the Ute tribe had an extra vaccine, and they're like, hey, send your county employees. So thankfully, I wish this could be for all of you, but my library staff that wanted to got their first dose last week, which is phenomenal. And I hope you all start getting that soon. But, I see some light starting to show up at the end of the tunnel, which is great. Finally, we've been waiting for this for a year, but I think people are waiting badly to get back to each other. And the library was a place where they were able to come together. And I have no doubt that heart will start beating as soon as we are able to remove restrictions. And we need to do so safely. It's a case-by-case basis for sure. And I wouldn't want to pressure any of your directors or you to do something dangerous. But it's obvious that people need that. Their mental health is hurt. And they need that social and mental health restored once the physical is in a safe situation to handle it.
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I agree. We have a lot of widows, and they don't have an out. If they don't come to the library, they don't have a place. In fact, one of our library patrons passed away over the summer, and I actually had no idea. We were contacting her husband for vaccination, or he contacted us for help signing up with his vaccination, and I had no idea she had passed away. Completely put my foot in my mouth. But he said, I guess you wouldn't have known. And I had no way to know because they hadn't been in the library. I don't see them around the community. So yeah, for us, we are the place where they come to get that human interaction and that feel that need. But even our teens, believe it or not, and they just need a minute of a different adult in their life that they can interact with. So yes, it's been hard. we've been fortunate to be open. Daniel, you've got me crying. Dang it.
It's a sad story, but it's reality. And
Right.
people are like, what if they go irrelevant over this year? No. People are like, when can we have it back? So
yep. I am very grateful, but honestly, our first program when our door was opened back up, so our first summer program in person, we could have filled the whole building, but we did sign ups and limited our numbers, but we could have filled the whole building that day, floor to ceiling. So yeah, we're definitely needed. My city is a different support system. In fact, they just kind of leave me to make the decisions. And so I make the decisions on the side of caution, and my governing body doesn't agree with that. And so the library is kind of the out. So it's put my library in a hard place, but I know my older patrons are very grateful for the caution. So I definitely side there more than I just side with the popular opinion. Who else is out there? Oh, that means we're going to end early. Are you sure you want to do that, everybody? So rough.
I don't want to end early. I'm not ready. It went quiet, and then I was like, I need to speak. No one's.
I'm going to do a plug. I plug for the city libraries, the Browsing to Go. I don't know if anybody has done this, or maybe you did it even before the pandemic, but we started a new service called Browsing to Go because, of course, so many of our patrons miss that, and especially our patrons with children. And it has been such a delight where kids are, you go onto our website and fill out if you want like a quick request. So maybe you want, books on Komodo dragons, and you can specify if you want it, to be nonfiction or fiction or picture book or whatever. And it has been such a wild success. And I'm so proud that we jumped into this and did it. And our patrons love it, especially the ones with kids. I'm not sure that we've had as much traffic for adults, and but basically you can request up to 25 books, and we have some regular patrons that are coming like twice a week that are like every other week or so, and they're getting a whole new bunch of books. And as librarians, that's part of what we miss so much, is that reader's advisory. And so it's been really fun for our team to just be like, hey, did you see the Browsing to Go? Well, what do you think about this? And then just having those conversations about, well, what kind of picture book or what kind of early chapter book, and then we just get to tap into each other's knowledge too. And I just can't say enough great things about that. Since we can't do it in person to hand sell the books or, to the adults or to the kids, this has been a really nice way to still serve the community.
We've done something kind of similar that I'm not going to call it stealing Katrina, but that we borrowed from Katrina with picture book kits. So they can request a picture book kit online, and there are different subjects, or it can just say surprise me. And then I'll put together 10 picture books and just put them on hold for them. And then they'll just come and pick them up curbside. And it's actually been really fun because I can put books in that kit that they may not know about, that don't check out as much, that are really great. I mean, so that's been super successful. We get many, many, many every week.
Eagle Mountain does, we call it the book bundle, and they just go in online and they write kids books, and they'll be like, something like Junie B. Jones, and then something like Diary of the Wimpy Kid, and then mom wants something from this section, and then we just get to pick them all out for them. And so it's super fun because then we're, we know what we like, and if it's not in our areas, then we all ask each other, and we just make a big book bundle, and they do curbside, and they come pull up and call us, and we check them out to them and take them out to them. So that is a lot of fun though.
So there's in the chat, they're talking Beanstack and Reader Zone. We are almost out of time. Katrina's going to say cut it off. So I wanted to end with this cute story from our quarantine curbside service days. I had a 4-year-old that mom would just say, hey, just get us a bag of picture books. And so we would bring a bag of picture books out to her. And she sat in her car with her little arms wrapped around this big bag of books. And she says, Mom, it's better than Christmas because I love everything they send home for me. So good job, everybody. I'm sure you have those 4-year-olds that feel like Christmas when they get those great bags of books. Patrick. is raising his hand. What's up, Patrick?
Hi, yes, this is Patrick from the City Library. I'm in event services and I'm just helping to run this program through Zoom. And listening to everyone's conversations, I had the thought, so I'm going to back up just a little bit. So we offer a virtual meeting rooms service to the community. We've had book groups, we've had nonprofits, we've had a business contact us and ask us to make a Zoom reservation for them. And the benefit of this is they can get longer times, and if they're just using the free version, they can get higher capacity attendance compared to the free version. And then we also offer trainings and so forth. And while you were having these discussions, it made me think we've had a lot of community councils use this service. So far, we have about 6 of them, and they're meeting, once a month. However, we did have one that was Zoom bombed recently, and then there was another community council using their own Zoom account that got Zoom bombed. So I have been starting to offer enhanced security trainings for Zoom to these community councils. And listening to your stories, I thought I would throw out there and maybe test the water if anybody wants to give a thumbs up. Do you think that's something that you and your organization would be interested in, is how to apply enhanced security features to Zoom? And we could set up maybe some sort of training through ULA, or I don't know, it just was a thought. I thought I'd test the waters and see if people had any interest in that sort of thing.
I think that's great, Patrick. And if Sharon Deeds is still on here, I think she is. That might be something wonderful to go through, or Dan also through ULA or the state library. And Patrick is amazing, and he has made this day flow. So all the Zoom.
Go, Sharon. What were you going to say?
I was just trying to type it. Yes, I was thinking the same thing, Lisa, about USL workshop too. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm just going to say real quick, we have like 3 minutes.
Go, Daniel.
Before we end, I guess on behalf of ULA Presidency, want to thank you all for being here, and thank you to Lisa and Patrick and everybody, Angela, all you presenters who made this possible for us all today. You're wonderful people. It's the most robust roundtable workshop that occurs every year in ULA, and you're the biggest roundtable by far in ULA, and that's because the need's so great. What you do is needed by the kids and the parents and the caregivers and everybody. You all are a huge part of what we do. So thank you for what you're doing. You are the heart of your library. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We know children's where it's at. So whether it's schools or whatever. So thank you. We appreciate you, and we just wanted to express that.
Well, thank you for that. That's wonderful, and for letting us do this virtual experiment for YSRT this year. So we're grateful to you and for your support. And who has last stuff they want to say?
I just think definitely join Chatterbox. It's very much just a similar of what this session was. You get to share your ideas and get great ideas from others. I stole wonderful ideas for our last summer program. So join Chatterbox, join the Youth Services Roundtable, and thanks so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. This has been such a delight to be able to be together. Kirsten, did you want to say anything? Oh, she will be the incoming chair starting in July. Yeehaw!
Join. Yeah, it's going to be a party, so please jump in. It's actually really fun, and I think that you can tell that that's the way we connect to each other, is by joining and doing things that might take us out of our normal pathways, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
It's been fun. I mean, I've been working on Youth Services Roundtable for a couple of years, and I just have met so many people. In fact, I was thinking this morning, I had all these people that I could text because I couldn't find the link. And I thought, 5 years ago, I never would have even known I wouldn't have known all those people. So it's a really fun place to be.
And I joined like mid-pandemic and was like, I need people who think like me. They're my brand. And the meetings are delightful. And they're not even like meetings. It's just like what you've experienced today. It's happiness.
Yeah,
in
it's fun.
a screen currently.
Yay. And also just a plug too, if you're still out there, reach out to any of us. We are here to support you, and you can go to the YSRT ULA's website and look, we're all listed in there with our emails. And please, with any old thing, reach out, because this is what makes us stronger. And this is why we're doing this, to support each other, support the kids and their grownups and our communities. So, all right. On that happy note, this has been amazing. Thank you, presenters, and thank you for everyone for showing up today. What a delight to have you all join us. And I can't believe we're closing on time. What the heck? All right, well, take good care, everyone, and happy reading, and stay well and healthy. I'm gonna stop the recording.